that that's what she did. Like, people believe that she unalived her own child. Like, you're not gonna get away from people who have that um who have that thought of you. Like, her getting online after all this time is because Gypsy Rose was so welcomed and is, 9.8 million followers. This fucking bullshit. Like, people should not be looking up and idolizing people who were convicted of murder, who were convicted of crimes.
So it's really about no touch, no eye contact. Just totally ignore, just focus on the human right here, see? All right, so now, go outside. I'm going to hold the leash now.
Okay.
That's all right.
Let's get to the book. The last chapter is about an hour long. And like I said, it is about daughters who are healing from their narcissistic mother. And if you listen to it and it is something that you think that you might enjoy, you can find all the previous chapters on my YouTube channel. This is, I believe, the last chapter. Let me just look and see. Yeah, this is the last chapter.
10.
Hold on.
He has gone to that stage, right? You have seen this stage. You saw when
the red zone. He doesn't care.
Oh, why didn't I just do this chapter last night? It's only 20 minutes. That was so...
Mothering with mother.
I'm sorry. I should have just read this chapter last night. It's only 20 minutes long.
In all life stages, because together we stop the generational transmission of mother hunger. If you are reading this and feeling regret because your children are grown, take comfort in knowing that your healing positively impacts them at any age. This is not because you tell your children about what you're doing. In fact, they most likely don't want or need to hear about it. It's because as you are healing, the way you speak, your facial expressions, even the way your body moves, change. Energetically, your body sends messages of safety and comfort to everyone around you. Replacing lost elements of maternal love improves how you love yourself and others. I've found that women who heal the pain of mother hunger become very attentive, loving mothers. Time and again, I've witnessed the transformation of fractured bonds between adult daughters and their mothers. As I stated earlier, since we never truly outgrow the desire for a mother, daughters almost always appreciate their mother's repair efforts. For those of you who already have children, be encouraged. As you heal from mother hunger, your efforts transfer to your children, beginning with babies. If you're considering mothering a child, this note is for you. In truth, a deep exploration of mothering with mother hunger deserves a separate audiobook. But for now, this short section may help. I'd like to emphasize that each element your little one needs, nurturance, protection, and guidance, you need too.
This
To
doesn't
nurture
feel like
well,
silk.
You need nurturing from friends and family. To protect your baby, you must be safe. Since you may desire
This
different
does not
things
feel
for
like
your baby
silk.
than your mother gave you need guidance from other mothers. Women who support your desire to attach to your baby. Mothers who applaud your desire to be gentle and
Not
responsive.
silk.
Mothers who have navigated this journey themselves. Rest assured, even with mother hunger, you can nurture well when you let Mother Nature be your guide. I will share some helpful ideas to buffer culturally dominant but misguided information about infant care, so you have more options for important choices. It can be healing, even freeing, to discover guidance that isn't toxic or agenda-driven. Recently, a client shared with me an exciting resource for women who are ambivalent about having children called Motherhood Clarity Coaching. This type of coaching helps women wade through cultural pressures and generational expectations to find their own truth about whether or not motherhood is the best option for them. Having children is life-changing and is certainly not for everyone. Having support for this big decision is critical, as pressure comes from many directions, making it all the more difficult. Frequently, mother hunger alters your body-based guidance system for nurturing a baby, particularly for those of you with third-degree mother hunger. The feeling of pure love for your baby or child can be so foreign that it brings anxiety and dissociative states along with the compelling desire to nurture and protect. These polarizing emotions can be terribly confusing and can overwhelm the bonding and attachment process. It helps to anticipate this and know that it's normal. Psychotherapist Susan Forward says, quote, "There's no magic switch that turns on maternal instinct and ensures that a woman, especially a troubled one, will suddenly bond with her baby." While there is an element of truth here, particularly if you have third-degree mother hunger, you do have a magic switch, oxytocin. Nature gives you what you need to bond with your baby. Unfortunately, our culture doesn't support nature in this powerful attachment process. Demands from the outside world put incredible pressure on you. Problems arise when misinformed experts get involved and redirect nature's way of helping you become a mother. Be cautious of sleep training experts who tell you that your baby can self-soothe, that your baby needs separation, or that your toddler needs a timeout.
Yeah, this is
These
not
folks
silk.
are not concerned with attachment. Their poor advice can keep you from accessing nature's magic switch and developing the nurturing behavior you and your baby need. Oxytocin, nature's magic switch. Like every other mammal, we are biologically wired to bond with our babies. Biology delivers powerful neurochemical support to help us become mothers. Recall the last time you felt deeply connected to someone. Did you feel warm? Hopeful? Bonding is enjoyable because oxytocin is at work, creating a positive experience that you will want again and again. Not because you're needy, but because you're human.
Mm-hmm.
Oxytocin, sometimes called the love hormone, is a powerful neurotransmitter that floods the body when you cuddle with someone you love, experience an orgasm, give birth, or make breast milk. Both men and women have oxytocin receptors that facilitate bonding. Women have more opportunity to experience oxytocin if we give birth or breastfeed. But even without either experience, proximity, holding, cuddling, and caring for a child beckons oxytocin. Oxytocin transforms an adult into a parent, turning you from maiden into mother. Becoming responsible for the well-being of a vulnerable, completely dependent little human is an incredible undertaking, and you will change. Change hurts. Even if we want it, we may resist it. Resisting this particular opportunity for change only makes mothering harder. Embrace the opportunity to pause, slow down, be curious, and tune into the changes in yourself and the needs of your child. If you were nursed and cuddled a lot as a child, adapting to this new chapter will come more easily for you than if you were not properly nurtured. Without an inner sense of what it feels like to be cared for in a sensitive, tuned-in kind of way, caring for a baby or toddler can feel both unnatural and terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, knowing that biology is on your side helps. Allow Mother Nature to guide you by listening to your baby's cues for comfort, food, and closeness. Hold your baby as much as you can so you turn on the maternal magic switch. The flow of oxytocin depends on this. There's no need to worry about creating an overly dependent baby. Babies cannot be spoiled. A baby who is touched a lot grows a bigger, better brain. A mother who stays close to her infant grows a maternal heart. Oxytocin and prolactin, a milk-making hormone, are designed to slow you down so you can bond with your baby. The hazy mommy brain that you've heard about, or might be feeling right about now, is purposeful lethargy. It's nature's invitation to relax and be with your newborn. Refer to Chapter 3, Nurturance, for more information about these powerful hormones. Epigenetic inheritance. Toxic stress, generations of sexual objectification, lack of support, and unaddressed mother hunger leave many mothers without the epigenetic wisdom to guide their passage from maiden to mother. As most epigenetic transmission goes through the matrilineal line, your mother's story impacts your own. She could only give what she received. The science of epigenetics informs us that we inherit the resilience and the trauma of our ancestors. New mothers need the same care that a baby does: nurturance, protection, and guidance. In some ways, those of you with mother hunger are as vulnerable as your newborn because you don't have the maternal support you need as you make this powerful transition. To stop the transmission of mother hunger, surround yourself with a team who will feed you and protect you while you take the necessary time to bond with your newborn. Early nurturance and safety in the first 3 years is the best insurance against adversity and stress. Hiring a postpartum doula is a great start for you and your newborn. Childbirth and stress. Many women in North America haven't witnessed childbirth before they face it, so the natural process of birth can be strange and frightening. If you are preparing for childbirth, an understanding of your amazing female body helps build your confidence before your baby even arrives. Knowledge is power. Nature's first effort to help you become a mother begins as oxytocin rushes in to buffer childbirth pain. During labor, as contractions build, so does oxytocin. Oxytocin diminishes your modesty at the same time, helping you settle into the rhythm of labor. Unfortunately, biology hasn't developed an oxytocin formula strong enough to combat the frightening sounds, noxious smells, and disturbing lights in hospitals. Fear complicates childbirth, prompting a neural cascade of adrenaline and cortisol that is very unhelpful during labor. These hormones are necessary for fighting or fleeing, but counterproductive during childbirth. Women aren't meant to labor in these sterile and chaotic conditions. Research shows that we fare better in familiar surroundings with dim lights and soft sounds while giving birth. We also need the presence of other women who are calm and confident and caring. For this reason, I hope you consider hospital alternatives such as a birthing center, a midwife, and/or a doula. The increasing popularity of doulas is an encouraging trend. Doulas are companions who comfort, encourage, and aid you during and after labor. Doulas work alongside medical providers and midwives, but their sole purpose is to support the mother. Research shows that having a doula present enhances your oxytocin release. With a doula by your side, birth is less frightening and you have a better chance for early bonding with your baby. Nursing. Human milk is designed specifically for a new little human. Your breast milk protects your baby from disease while the immune system is still young. Breast milk regulates metabolism and promotes rapid brain growth for your newborn. Suckling frequently calms your baby and relaxes you. Mother's milk is the perfect formula, no pun intended, for bonding and attachment. If you are adopting a baby, you might want to explore the ways you can stimulate lactation or consider purchasing human milk from a milk bank. As I mentioned earlier, I prefer the term nursing to breastfeeding because nursing happens with a bottle or a breast. And it is not just feeding. Nursing is holding, cuddling, singing, cleaning, and tending. Nursing is nurturance. While the advantages of breast milk are well known, most doctors are not adequately trained to support you with this amazing process. So here are some helpful things to know if you wish to nurse your baby. 1, most infants are not very hungry the first 48 to 72 hours, so their sucking reflex might not be strong enough to latch on correctly. It's normal that you might experience plugged milk ducts and soreness as milk comes in. When this happens, it hurts. Have a plan from a midwife, a doula, or an IBC-LC certified lactation consultant, or a La Leche League leader ahead of time. Prolactin, the hormone that prompts your body to make milk, relies on supply and demand. Skin contact and frequent suckling boosts prolactin. The more stimulation to nipple and skin, the more milk flow. Nursing often and for long periods of time boosts your relaxation and gives your baby the best chance for reaching the hind milk, the creamy, rich part of your breast milk that comes later in the feeding session and stimulates infant brain growth. Centuries of genetic coding wire your baby for closeness with your body. At birth, your baby can already smell your milk and knows your scent. Closeness with your baby is the best thing for your milk supply and for creating secure attachment. The vulnerability of a body that's sore from birth and suddenly making milk can be overwhelming. Breastfeeding takes time to learn. Just because it's biological doesn't mean it's entirely intuitive. You're beginning a new relationship, and like any new relationship, it's amazing, awkward, exhilarating, confusing, and sometimes painful. If it becomes too stressful to nurse your baby from your breast, be assured that your little one can thrive with your sensitive care, regardless of how you feed her. Bottle feeding is a salvation for mothers and a cuddly time for babies when eye contact and physical touch are part of the ritual. Fortunately, even when feeding from your breast isn't going well, skin-to-skin contact, shared cuddling, and playful interactions will keep your oxytocin flowing. If you take away only one thing from this note, I encourage you to reach out to lactation specialists, doulas, or La Leche League volunteers before your baby arrives. Building a support team gives you the best chance for success in the early months together. I want you to have lots of support because if you have mother hunger, the hormonal benefits that come with nursing are very important for helping you transition from being a busy adult to being a soothing parent. As a new mother, you need as much nurturance as your newborn does. Whether you give birth or adopt, this is the most vulnerable time in your life after your own infancy. Your best guidance comes from tuning into your baby's cues, but this can be challenging in a world that demands your attention in many directions. Rather than feeding schedules designed by formula companies or advice from sleep training experts, listen to your baby. Your baby knows what he or she needs to feel secure. What works for one baby won't work for another. Some babies are harder to soothe than others due to exposure to maternal distress in utero. Interrupted breastfeeding rhythms can cause early feeding problems that complicate bonding. Prolactin slows down without adequate nipple stimulation, diminishing milk production. You may struggle with sadness or shame if breastfeeding is difficult or when your baby cries. If you're stressed, you may avoid holding your baby, which will diminish your oxytocin levels. It's easy to get caught in a paralyzing cycle of anxiety and depression when this happens. These challenges are normal. If you aren't making enough milk for your baby, it's likely you need more support and guidance. Perhaps no one has told you that nursing a baby is a full-time job, or that nighttime closeness with your baby boosts your milk supply for daytime hours when you might be away. This is why sleep training, which some professionals suggest should begin as early as possible, is terrible for milk production and stressful for bonding. Breaking the cycle of mother hunger. You may be disoriented or shocked by the reality of motherhood. The loss of freedom, the absence of control, and the huge responsibility can be overwhelming. Carrying the burden of mother hunger complicates these normal feelings. The mix of pure joy and abject terror can initiate an emotional crisis. Loving your baby wakes the buried truth inside your heart and touches your own deprivation and heartache. The intensity of these emotions can be too much to manage without your own mother's support. I hope that when this happens, you have safe surroundings and helpful relationships to comfort and protect you. I'm so glad that you're here learning about nature's design and how important it is for you to have the nurturance, protection, and guidance that your child also needs. With awareness, tenderness, and preparation, you can mother yourself while nurturing your baby. In fact, becoming a mother may be the first time you care for yourself, because life is no longer just about you, and caring for yourself is also what's best for your child. As you nurture yourself with good food, sleep, and connection with other women, you stop the intergenerational transmission of mother hunger. At any stage of mothering, your healing is a gift to your child and to the world. Resources for mothering. The Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative, launched in 1991, is an effort to ensure that all maternity facilities, whether freestanding or in a hospital, become centers of breastfeeding support. Their website can guide you to a supportive facility in your area. Attachment Parenting International supports parents with science-based, attachment-focused advice. Their newsletter is very helpful. Garcia Nervez is a researcher whose work focuses on lifelong human wellness and meeting the biological needs of infants. I recommend her book, Neurobiology and the Development of Human Morality, Evolution, Culture, and Wisdom, and her blog, evolvednest.org. The Baby Book, Everything You Need to Know About Your Baby from Birth to Age 2 by William and Martha Sears, is an excellent guide from a doctor and a nurse who have raised children and now have grandchildren. The Attachment Parenting Book, A Common Sense Guide to Understanding and Nurturing Your Baby, another resource from the Sears Parenting Library. Nighttime Parenting, How to Get Your Baby and Child to Sleep by William Sears, explains how parenting at night is just as critical as parenting during the day. Raised Good, this is a blog full of supportive guidance for natural parenting in the modern world and offers online courses, raisedgood.com. Conclusion. Stress makes us irritable. Our face gets tight, we don't smile, and our voice sounds harsh or brittle. As I finish this manuscript through the perils of COVID-19, vulnerable mothers and children are heavy on my mind because I know that the stress is simply too much for them. This audiobook would not be possible if I were still mothering daily. It demanded that I find the right language for how primitive heartbreak happens, to find descriptions for the various ways mothers fail their little ones, loving mothers, good mothers, and dedicated mothers. Mothers who wanted children, who felt ready, and who did their very best. Mothers like me, who were unable to offer what they simply didn't have. I couldn't have done it if I were mothering in a pandemic. Pandemic aside, writing about mother hunger is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Even if I were writing something yummy, like a cookbook, I would have struggled. Writing is just difficult. Luckily, in the early stages of preparation, I found the book Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Reading her brilliant portrayal of a deprived, dissociated daughter was the perfect companion her writing about mother hunger. Honeyman's leading lady is the poster child for mother hunger, experiencing the burning need to numb out with fantasy and the split self that emerges from early heartbreak. Spoiler alert. Honeyman writes a fictional character as real as my clinical cases. In the story, Eleanor Oliphant manufactures a love affair with a man she's never met. It's one of the most compelling stories of love addiction I've seen. She also has weekly phone calls with her cruel, critical mother. This might be reasonable, except that her mother is dead. Her manufactured phone calls illustrate one way a daughter survives unbearable grief and trauma. Oliphant's vodka-infused isolation almost leaves her homeless and represents every woman's worst nightmare. Oliphant, who never knew a mother's love, shares a powerful truth. Quote, loneliness is the new cancer. During this pandemic, as we cover our faces, masking our smiles from each other, I can't help but think of the implications of isolation from COVID-19. Recently, a photographer who takes pictures of babies and toddlers told me that she's noticed that in the past 4 months, it's been increasingly difficult to get babies to smile.
Aw.
Her observation has me thinking of Beatrice Beebe's research and pondering the long-term impact of infants gazing into masked faces. What are their mirror neurons losing? While masks are discouraging, other stories of babies and their caregivers in quarantine together are hopeful. Little ones born in 2020 enter a world that keeps mom and other caregivers close. Daily, I hear from parents about how they are finding gifts in the shared quarantine with their babies. They are taking turns with infant care, toddler care, domestic duties, and career responsibilities. This is not without stress. No one is immune from the stress of the pandemic. But for the little ones, the benefit of consistent adult proximity might have rewards. Domestic violence and financial insecurity erode the benefits of proximity, however, and the staggering numbers of families living with chronic fear have terrible implications for third-degree mother hunger. Physicians report concern about children in violent situations. California invested $42 million to protect children who are at heightened risk of abuse and mistreatment due to COVID-19. Perhaps the good news is that COVID-19 is bringing increased awareness of ACEs and the impact of toxic stress on children. Organizations like ACEs Connection, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, and Iowa ACEs 360, to name a few, are invested in research and activism to support children and families. In a recent CBS Sunday Morning episode during COVID-19, I was encouraged to find an entire segment about the benefits of oxytocin. The report encouraged us to hug ourselves. And a few weeks later, on the same program, there was a feature on smiling and mirroring. Scientific American published an article by Lydia Denworth, author of Friendship, entitled "The Loneliness of the Social Distancer Triggers Brain Cravings Akin to Hunger." Educational reports like these remove the shame attached to loneliness because we know we are all feeling it. The pandemic is forcing loneliness out of the closet and demanding that we pay attention to our need for one another. Going forward, I hope we hold on to this information. We don't know exactly how the social isolation, school closures, and economic disruption caused by COVID-19 will affect our mental health, but we know it will. Divorce rates are rising. Mothers are suffering as they juggle the impossible, conflicting demands of work and home. Stress has our biological alarm system in overdrive. In the best scenario, we will emerge with greater respect for those who tend and befriend under duress, because more than ever, we need someone to keep the house sanitary, food in the pantry, and family members close. Generally, these duties fall to women, but occasionally gender roles are dissolving under the shared pressure of a long-term pandemic. Couples and families work together because if everyone were fighting or fleeing, relationships would simply fall apart. Respecting the instinct to tend and befriend has lasting implications for our humanitarian responses to each other. There's no way to accurately predict what the world will look like when this audiobook arrives in your hands. Will we be a stronger, more compassionate community? Will we have a new awareness and respect for infants' needs and our own? Will the tend and befriend response have us taking better care of one another? Or will we adapt to new levels of isolation using food, alcohol, or whatever mood-altering thing we can find? I take solace, and perhaps you can too, from Margaret Wrinkle's Late Migration. Her beautiful words have a prophetic nature as she says, quote, "There is nothing to fear. There is nothing at all to fear. Walk out into the springtime and look. The birds welcome you with a chorus. The flowers turn their faces to your face. The last of last year's leaves, still damp in the shadows, smell ripe and faintly of fall." Her memoir speaks to the enduring nature of Mother Nature, who is here for us. Solace for Mother Hunger is in the natural world. Nurture and protect her so she can nurture and protect you. Plant things, tidy your closet, eat food that nourishes your spirit. Tend to your heartache and befriend those who understand your journey. As you heal, rest when you are tired and afraid until you remember there is nothing to fear.
That's it, you guys. That was such a good book. It was such a good book. I'm going to end up leaving a review.
Hopes you have enjoyed this program.
I'm going to leave a review, but I'll do that
Here's
later.
a recommended preview based on your listening.
No.
To listen to the full title, you can buy it.
No, we don't want to listen to any book reviews right now. I will do a review of this book though, because this book was actually way more deserving than I initially. Yes, it was so relaxing. It was very good. I do think that, let me look back in my library. There's a few books that I have not started already in my library. We have The Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if anyone is interested in reading that. The Gift of Fear, Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents, Anti-Fragile, The Courage to be Disliked, Super Communicators, How to Talk to Anyone, Outlander, and It Ends with Us. So we've got quite a few options that like I said, I'd rather go through all the books that I've already paid for first before I actually start like buying other books for us to read. So I would love that. I would love to meditate. I think that that's a great idea. I can definitely schedule that for us tomorrow at the same time. I love meditating. I usually meditate to a YouTube channel that's titled Your Universe. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but she always has a really great like meditations and hypnosis. So take a look at it and see what you think about it. I bought these books quite a while ago, so I need to go through them and see what they're all about and see which ones most align with the topic that we're discussing. And then we can kind of go from there. I'm going to go ahead and go so that I can get in the shower. I'm feeling really itchy for some reason. I don't know why. I'm going to go ahead and go so I can get in the shower. I have to change my shower curtain and do a couple of other things before I get ready for bed. But I will list the books and then we can kind of discuss like where we want to go from there moving forward on tomorrow. Okay? Y'all have a good night. Oh, Kathleen, how are you feeling? I didn't even ask. Are you feeling okay? I meant to ask how you were, if you were feeling any better. I remember last time you were sick. So I don't want to get off until I know that you're feeling better. Still the same? Oh my goodness. How awful. Well, we should do a meditation that will help with your body, like healing some of that sickness in your body. I think that would be a great idea. Because she actually had, have you heard of the YouTube channel Your Universe? If you haven't, go check her channel out. She has a lot of different meditations, and some of them focus on like quantum leaping, quantum jumping. There are also some that focus on like healing your body, helping you sleep better, like different ones like that. So go check it out and then we'll look at it and see how we can figure out a way to get you feeling better. All right. See ya.